Now, on one final matter, since President Biden took office, the cost of energy has risen 41.65%. Fuel oil prices are up 56.8%. Gasoline is up 55.5%, and natural gas is up 22%. This, of course, is not news to working families who've been struggling to keep up with the past 3.5 years. But Washington Democrats are just now waking up. Suddenly, right before an election, Democrats are concerned about the high prices Americans are paying to fill up their gas tanks. But they still can't seem to correctly assign the blame. Just last month, the Democratic leader berated, quote, big oil companies for continuing to rake in the cash at the expense of the American people. I thought high energy prices were a primary feature of the left-wing climate agenda. As a report from Columbia University's Center for Global Energy Policy put it, quote, a price on carbon makes those responsible for the damages caused by greenhouse gas emissions pay for those damages. A carbon price makes carbon-intensive goods and services more expensive. Well, there you have it. High prices for hardworking Americans are a feature, not a bug. If Washington Democrats are looking for a scapegoat for soaring energy prices, it's about time they looked in the mirror. And as our colleague from West Virginia, Senator Capito, reminded us recently, the very law Washington Democrats claimed was designed to lower prices is instead sending taxpayer dollars to support inflationary climate programs and other radical causes. The EPA sent $50 million from the so-called Inflation Reduction Act to support the Climate Justice Alliance. Now we already know that climate justice means higher gas prices for working Americans and electric vehicle subsidies for high-earning elites. But what about the organization's plan to, quote, break the rules that need to be broken, shut down extractive facilities and extractive economic structures, and place race, gender, and class at the center of the economy? Well, what about its contention that, quote, the path to climate justice travels through a free Palestine? Once again, this is a beneficiary of the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. Suffice it to say, the so-called Climate Justice Alliance is not comprised of America's allies. And while they claim to advocate for justice, they're burying working families in higher costs. I can assure our colleagues that the American people won't take kindly to being treated like suckers.